just to introduce myself, Jordan, I'm John from Brazil, aka Carecas Bonitos House. And I'm from a news calling Vison. And first of all, thank you for receiving me, receiving us, and for this time talking a little bit with me, right? So, just to start, we have seen Sentinels has a great potential as a team. We saw it in the kickoff. You almost won the tournament, right? But individually, the pieces don't seem to have fit together in the best way yet. Like we saw it in the Masters, right? I know you working to be better, but what is your opinion and how can you see this moment of Sentinels?
I think the biggest thing for us is just being patient. Like you said, we were in grand final of kickoff. We were up 2-1 against G2. It could have went either way. And then obviously Masters Bangkok, we did not have the greatest showing. That uh, I can say that it's not easy. It's not easy getting grouped. Um, but I think the biggest thing is remembering that we built this roster for a reason, and we've shown great results already with this roster in the short time that we have. So I think the biggest thing for us is just keep working at what we're working at as long as it's working. I think making the international is a feat in itself. Granted, or no matter the results at the international. I mean, obviously, no one wants to lose. But I think us making it in the short time that we have had with this roster, especially with all our role changes and all the meta changes and everything like that, I think it's fair to say that we just need to be patient with ourselves and still work on what we need to work on and keep going. And as long as the remedy of success is there, then we're doing something right. But I think the biggest thing is we just need to be patient with what we're doing.
Okay, that's nice to know. And as you said, after a troubled Masters, how does Sentinels arrive for this VCT? Like mentality and psychologically, do you think you are the big favorite alongside G2, or you need this kind of confidence rebuild? What do you can say about this?
I'd say we're very confident, very comfortable right now. We took a little break after Bangkok, and then we've been putting in the countless hours that we usually do. I mean, we've scaled back our practice regimen a little bit because I think before we were just kind of like, if we made a mistake, we felt like we had to go harder, and then I think we were just kind of like, I think we were kind of just going in a circle and kind of hitting our head against a wall and not really fixing anything. I think this case we've been a little bit more lenient, a little bit more loose, and we're just trying to make sure like we're healthy as a team. But I think, yeah, I do think we're definitely one of the favorites for Americas. I'd say I'm not gonna say we're one or two. I'll say we're top three confidently because I do think Americas is pretty stacked. I do think this is a very talented region. So I'm not going to say we're one or two. I'll just say we're top three alongside G2. People can put whatever team they want to put in there for whatever they want to choose. But obviously, yeah, MIBR was up there with us last for kickoff, and I think they could still be up there with us now. But yeah, I'd say we're very confident, very comfortable.
Okay, yes, can see it. And I just asked Leaf, you talk a little bit about it, but I just asked Leaf, and I would like to know from you, in your opinion, which teams will be the most challenged, which team has the hardest player to compete against, what you can say about it, in your opinion, from the next stage of Americas.
Just to name like a few players, I definitely think like Osmos is very hard to play against. I think DG Zin is very hard to play against. I think Oxy is very hard to play against. Mata is very hard to play against. Um, as you can tell, I'm naming duelists, so a lot of the duelists are very hard to play against. I guess is the case. I do think that role is like the most aggressive role for sure. So I think the top tier or top talented duelists are very hard to play against in general. So I would say the duelists of those teams. I think I think for 100 Thieves, I guess my player to choose would probably be EU or Asuna, maybe. I think Cryo's up there, but I think in terms of playstyle, I think Asuna or EU are very hard to play against. I think Cryo is like he's hard to play against, but he's kind of just like a rock for them, which every team needs a rock. He's just very consistent. You know, he's gonna give you what he gives you. So that's like dangerous in itself. But and then EG, I'd probably say I think EG for me, I would probably say like Yay. Yay is very scary. I think Superman is very scary. Those players, I think Derek's very consistent. Um, and then I would say that's kind of it from who I would pick. Like just off the top of my dome. But obviously teams are like crew as a team. I think is scary. I wouldn't really pick out any of their players. I think they can all pop off at any given time. I'm not. It's not like an individual thing. I think they play very well. Like I think they play Valorant very well together. And then yeah, that's about what I would say for the teams in Americas.
Okay, that's a tough competition, right? And with great players, but you know, it's almost impossible not to ask about a scene related to Brazil because you have this relation with him, right? And so I have two questions about it. And first of all, for you, what's his main characteristics the Sentinel misses today after his retirement?
I think the biggest thing with Sacy is that he was a vet. I think when you have a vet like that with so many years of experience, so many trophies under his belt, I think losing that is very tough because you already know like how he's gonna play. You know what he's gonna bring. You don't really have to like kind of worry about him. Like there's no like you're not like telling him how to play in game. Like he's gonna do what he needs to do. He's gonna do his job very well. And like I think there's something to be said about players that do their job well. Like maybe they're not stars. Like I know a lot of people think that Sacy didn't have the greatest stats on our team, but he won majority of his clutches. He did his job to the utmost T of like what he needs to do. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. Like I think that's like the biggest thing losing a vet like Sacy is that you're losing that kind of like comfort factor almost of like you know he's not going to be making a lot of mistakes and you know he's not going to lose you the game basically is what I'm trying to say and like I think that's a big hole to fill for sure. But you know we're trying to fill those gaps and we're trying to fill those holes. Obviously we went to a very younger roster, but yeah, I think for me, I miss Saucy just because he would always call me his American, and you know I miss him because I think he brought a level of I think he brought like a level of comfort. I guess is like how I would say it. Like it's very hard to replace someone with like the accolades that he has. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in Brazil we miss him too, so I can imagine what you
yeah,
pass.
yeah.
So,
I
and
guess two regions lost him. Yeah,
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 it's really difficult, right?
yeah.
So instead of it, well, what do you think it's missing for Brazilian teams to return to being protagonists in major finals and to be more competitive in the tournaments like Loud in 2023 or MIBR in the beginning of the year? They are engine, but in general we can't see Brazilians in the top high, you know. So what do you think about it?
I mean, I definitely think Brazil is there for sure. Like, I wouldn't say they're not in the top. Like, I think America's is super hard. I think, you know, if I didn't have the series that I had against MIBR, we like it could be a different discussion. Like, MIBR would have been at Masters Bangkok. Um, but I think the talent is there for Brazil. I just it's hard for me to say because I don't really know like the issues within the region or whatever. Like it could be like an IGL issue, like not a lot of like teachers, I guess. There's not a lot of teachers in Brazil maybe that could like teach the young kids the game, so they kind of just become aimers or whatever. Um, it's the same as happening in Americas as well. Um, I think MIBR has been the closest team since Loud, right? I think they've been like the best looking team since Loud, and I think there's a case to say with Fraud and Ospas or whoever Art's in as well, whoever was building that team. You know, they picked up the two rookies, right? Zenom and what's the other kid's name?
Okay, courtesy and channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zenom and Corsia. I think getting those two, I mean, they're like considered rookies, right? They haven't really played on like the big stage. So I'd say like getting those two rookies is, I would say, a feat in itself because I think Brazil does has the talent. I think they just need. I think honestly it comes to like I think it comes to like the staff, and I think it comes to like the coaching and everything like that, and management of like what the org actually wants to do. But yeah, I think it starts with like coaching staff and management because I mean, look at MIBR. Like, you have a talent like Ospas, like one of the best players in the world, if not the best, like arguably the best player in the world. And he just comes to this team, and they kind of rebuild it around him, and they bring in these like young guns, and like they're just super hungry to win, and then they get top three at kickoff. I think that's a beautiful thing, and you had Nowser as well behind them. I think it comes down to the coaching staff, and I think it comes down to management. I think it comes down to your vets teaching the young kids the game. You know what I mean? I think that's everything that it comes down to. That I can't say for sure what is happening in the scene, but that's like it from my outside looking in. Because I like Loud. I also think Loud is also really good. Like, I think their draw and kickoff got a little unlucky. I think they beat Crew, and then they played us, and then they had to play Crew
Crew
again. I
again.
think,
Crew again.
yeah. So like, it's just kind of unlucky. But I definitely think it's there for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like you said, Americas is really hard to play. And we come to the end to the interview, but after we finish it, there is a big discussion current about the current game, right? About the current state of the game. I imagine you saw it, but for you as a vet with the all experience you have, and I mean you have been in this league for a while, right? And many pros is dissatisfied with the large number of abilities and skills in the game, leaving aside the frank firefight or these one-on-one matchups. And I would like to know from you how you see this current state of the game of the Valorant, and like it's boring. You are happy with this current state of the game. What you can say about it?
I mean, it's a fine line to say that like the abilities are killing the game because the game is the abilities. Like, that's what makes Valorant is the abilities. Like, obviously it is about shooting. Like, it's a agent or hero FPS, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's not just strictly an FPS. It does come with utility and everything like that. I do think there is a lot of it in the game, but sadly, I don't see a fix of it because there's only going to be more agents coming out with the same amount of utility or more utility or whatever the case may be. All I can really say is people just have to adapt and hope that it works out. And if it doesn't, then you've just fallen behind because that's just that's just the game. That's just the game, and there's nothing. Riot's not gonna or Valorant's not gonna come out and be like, all right, we're eliminating one ability off every agent. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So like people just have to take Valorant for what it is. It is a hero shooter, and there's a lot of abilities. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in and around, and I think people just have to accept that, and you just have to do the best of your ability because, like I said, Riot's not going to come in and be like, all right, we're taking away all the rechargeable util. Like, that's just not, it's just not going to happen. So for me, I've always said that esports is all about adapting. If you want to stay in esports, it's about adapting. So I would say just good luck and do the best of your ability to adapt and hope for the best.
Okay, so Jordan, I'd like to thank you again for this time. And after we leave, can you please leave a message for your fans in Brazil. People here loves you, and this connection you have with Sacy and Pancada and the guys from Brazil create this identification. So can you leave a message for these fans?
Yeah, I know a lot of Brazilian fans hate me, but just know it's all love. I have a lot of love. I'm just a very honest, obnoxious guy. You can ask Sacy; he'll say the same. But at the end of the day, I do love you guys, and I hope that we can always have good games. And I hope that you guys don't. For the people who hate me, I hope you don't hate me forever. For the people who like me, caraca bonito.
Thank you, Jordan, and have the best luck in this next stage. And please have mercy for Brazilian hearts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.